Hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. And tonight we have the Backrooms. So, it's going to be slightly different because we need to explain the concept of the Backrooms. So, I'm just going to pull this up. The KnowYourMeme a website here. So the Backrooms started in 2019 on 4chan. Specifically, it started like the image. It's the image that accompanied, or that kind of spawned the inspiration of all this. Started on, I believe it was X, it was on the X thread, and it was basically just an image of like an old office like an empty office building rooms, with like moldy yellow wallpaper, very bright and sterile fluorescent lights, and like carpeted flooring, and just like like a weird angle that goes through like an opening into another room and such. And it was originally presented as like a cursed image or like an unsettling images or disquieting images. And there was a quote that kind of spawned, or that kind of sparked a lot of people's interest in this. Like somebody commented on the image, and it's what kind of sparked fire for this meme and phenomena. So here's the quote. If you're not careful and you clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum humbuzz, which is also my high school ska band for Christmas. We're the humbuzz.
Maximum humbuzz.
Scrooge and the Bah Humbuzz. Sorry. And approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. So that's literally the comment that fired up the internet into interest in this idea of basically a back room of reality. Like you clip through reality like a video game, and you end up in the back area where like all the where there's like raw assets and templates and shit. Or like you end up in this like kind of place that you're not, people from reality are not supposed to be in. And it's like a labyrinthian, banal construct. And it got a lot of people talking back in 2019 to 2020. Like I saw it popping up on Reddit. I saw it popping up on Twitter. Various people would post images of like similar banal looking office spaces that were just completely empty. And it's just like, I don't know. It got a lot of people talking. And so that's why I decided we should probably talk about it for Al Dente Rigamortis, since people made creepypastas about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a whole Backrooms.wiki. That's
really?
Yeah. But we're gonna choose. I've chosen the Backrooms story that was posted on creepypasta.wiki. It was posted by ClayKid12345. And it's straight up just says, and it's like right above the story, it's inspired by the Backrooms posts on X thread of 4chan. So that quote I just read, that's the original story. That's the original like post, and there's an image that accompanies it, like I said, and that's in this story as well. This story is basically just a slightly more elaborate version, and like a page and a half more elaborated.
Yeah, because it like puts you in the head of somebody went through that.
Yeah, doing that exact same like trial. So like a guy goes to an appointment at a clinic. While sitting down and signing some forms in the waiting room, he notices the wall behind him is incorporeal. He then trips into the wall and pops up in the room from the image, and unable to leave. He then spends some time running around, hearing inhuman footsteps and snarling somewhere, and eventually just gives up after like what seems like forever. And he's still there, somehow projecting this story onto the internet for us. Finn,
Don't question.
that's the story. Yeah, it's like a page and a half. You can check it out at creepypasta.wiki. But otherwise, I feel like we should just dive into our notes and stuff about it. So, and of course, always starting off with everyone tolerates the Grammar Inquisitions. At this point, I feel like I should do more oomph, like they do in that SNL skit that we're totally parodying. Like,
yeah,
nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. That's the joke, guys. That's what we've been parodying this whole time.
I want there to be one person who's been watching us since episode 1 that goes,
That's where
"Oh,
that's where I've heard it from."
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
We only know it because like we say it all the time normally.
Yeah, it's true. Also, it is an old SNL skit. So like, yeah, we do have listeners that are way younger than us. So
yeah, if they're not grandpas like we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Grammar Inquisition. I don't have any strictly Grammar Inquisition for this one. A lot of the stuff I want to talk about is more about like story construction more than grammar. So I put them into my actual thoughts. So I don't have a Grammar Inquisition today.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So Mikey, the E stands for evil.
I have a conjunction junction.
And next stop, conjunction junction. Doot, doot.
It was approximately 12:15 when I entered the Johnson County Community Health Clinic. It wasn't a new place for me. I had been there a couple times before. So I reached to touch the wall, and my fingers went through it. But nobody did. So I sat down, defeated. Finn.
Okay.
I love that. Sorry, I'm like picturing that as like, and my fingers went through it, but nobody did. So I gave up. I just had an existential crisis in the waiting room.
Maybe he meant like, but my fingers went through, but no body did. So like his arm went through, but it stopped on his body.
Oh, okay. So it's like that creepy SCP where like there's a hand just like that's poking out of a pipe in the middle of a bunker underground, and there's like just solid rock beyond it. So there should be no reason for that hand to be there.
Yes.
I can't remember what SCP it is, but it's one I've read off recording.
Okay, that's why I don't remember. Good.
Yeah. It's like, man, that memory, that hard drive of yours is really lacking.
Told you I'm a grandpa.
Yeah. And Gamer, do you want to explain why we do conjunction junctions and hit stars?
Hell no, but I will.
Cool.
So Monkey brings those up because there's always better words to start your sentences with than its, ands, or buts.
Mm-hmm.
Buts tend to belong in the middle of sentences or on your rear, not at the start of a sentence.
I was gonna say it's like butts are supposed to like. I literally thought you were gonna say it's like butts are supposed to be at the end of sentences, like your ass, like where your asshole is. It's like,
Yeah.
That's not true. Grammatically,
I basically
that's
said that
accurate.
just less vulgar. But yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
We're really not like, I don't put us under like kids can view us on YouTube when I post our video version, so it's fine.
I mean, I only swear a couple times an episode, but yeah, fair.
All right, and I assume that's all you have for Grammar Inquisition, Mikey.
You shouldn't just assume he's a one-trick pony and all he can do is a conjunction junction. I know he's totally got other stuff.
Nope.
Oh, never mind.
All right, Gamer.
Anyways, I got a couple kind of.
Okay.
This first one is after he's realizing that he's stuck, basically.
Yeah.
Says
deep into the story.
Yeah.
Like,
was this
that last half page? Sorry.
Pretty much, yeah. Was this my permanent location until I died? No, there had to be a way out. So for me, I feel it's a little too formal for the situation, like his wording of it. Like, it's been informal speech the whole time. It's odd how he's being slightly more proper here compared to him saying, "Am I stuck here until I die?" Instead of saying, "Is this my permanent location until I die?" It's
fair.
weird.
Okay, so I was thinking like because when I did read that, I did think it was a little odd that like there's a moment like, oh, he's thinking this out loud or something like that. Like maybe that could be more clear, but
Oh, I don't care if he's saying it out loud or thinking it. It's just odd how informal that is, you know?
yeah,
I don't even know if that's the right word, but it just seems less casual.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, and actually, I have an example later on in my notes about like how forced some of the dialogue in the story felt. But I want to save that for when I have my comment on that. So,
I suppose we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next one is right down near the end. So I sat down, defeated. A feeling of dread filled my body, and I started to cry. I was going to die here. I'm still there. I haven't left. I've accepted my fate. So my problem here is there's really no break in between the two lines where, like, to show the passage of time, basically, because it's been kind of an in the moment story until now.
Yeah.
I feel it needs something like that was what feels like a week ago, and I'm still here.
That would definitely help, I think. Like it would add a little bit more weight to the passage of time. Like I think time in the Backrooms doesn't have any meaning, but like to a person, like a personalized like thing, like it might feel like it's been like days or months. So yeah, no, I can definitely get behind that.
That's about it.
Okay. Well then, yeah. Otherwise, it wasn't too badly like written wise. But I suppose we shall move on to actual thoughts. So, on the concept of the Backrooms itself, I'm going to start with that. I really like the idea behind this, just like this liminal space behind reality, like where we're in some kind of simulation or a play, and there's a backstage or a storage space for old templates and assets, like old level design, basically. Yeah. Furthermore, as I was reading this story, I found myself thinking that this could be almost like an updated version of the Labyrinth and the Minotaur myth. Sort of like a postmodern reconstruction of that mythology of like Theseus and the Minotaur, because it kind of feels like there's a Minotaur in that maze of banal modern office spaces. Or perhaps like maybe the Minotaur myth, like it's like maybe this is like what Theseus encountered in Greece in the labyrinth, and perhaps it just changes as humanity like kind of like as human civilization like changes, it changes itself like aesthetically. So like back in the old days, it was stone and mortar and underground, and there was like a big old like bull man there, but like now, because it's in the modern era, it's kind of adapting to fit our new perception of like what is like dizzying maze like. So it's just this like these office spaces or like because honestly the image kind of reminds me of like convention spaces that I've been to. So like fodder wise, for either a story, for like extended stories, or even like a game scenario kind of idea, I could see using this in conjunction with like the Dreamlands from the Cthulhu mythos, i.e., kind of read what I just said about like, you know, the labyrinth and the myth and the Minotaur creature like changing as humanity changes, because like that's all about like our psyche and such like that. So like nowadays, like if we were to get trapped in the Dreamlands, and end up in the labyrinth of the Dreamlands, it's just this kind of office space. Like it's become the Backrooms basically. Or also use the King in Yellow and Carcosa, because that would fit the bill perfectly. Of this like this endless space of just strangely banal but like surreal landscape or architecture that just drives you nuts because you're trapped in there, and there's some kind of denizens inside lurking. It brought to mind Ross Payton's Ross Payton from Roleplay Public Radio, he actually did he's been working on a very similar concept for an architectural horror RPG he's calling Ruin. And it loosely stemmed from a scenario he ran a couple of years back about people getting trapped in a strange, never-ending motel. Like just the dingy rooms and hallways that just never end, or like you can't get out the front door, and like each room goes to somewhere else. And there's strange creatures within, just kind of like stalking you in there. And you either try and find a way to get out, go mad, or just die.
Great options.
Yeah.
Love them.
Well, there's one of those options is possible. There's a glimmer of hope, but then it's shattered when you realize, because you get outside and then you get into your car, and like you open your car door and get inside, and then you realize you're sitting at a desk in another motel room. It's like you were never out to begin with.
Yeah,
it's kind of got, I guess, a no end house sort of vibe.
A little bit.
But yeah, just the idea of these banal locations just fracting off infinitum does kind of unnerve me, especially with my time, like I said, at convention halls and what have you. Like some of those places, like Gen Con and at the Indianapolis like convention center, and like even some of the convention centers in Ontario, like we've gone to like Fan Expo and Comic Cons and stuff in down Toronto area. Some of those places are just so goddamn bland and sterile. And also kind of dizzying and hard to navigate sometimes. Like when you have to go from this room to the mezzanine in building A, halfway across a block, and you have to use sky paths, and then cut through like a dealer's room, and like, can you like. And that's during like a busy, crowded area. Like I've seen areas of it, like of those convention centers, where like a couple of like rooms away, it's loud and cacophony, and then you go out like beyond the cacophony, and it's just this dead silent, empty hallway that just spans for a block that no one's been using. So, and it does kind of give you a kind of a disquieting sort of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least it does me sometimes. And I say that in almost kind of like because I like that kind of feeling, because it gives me this kind of weird, exciting, creepy feeling. But I'm weird.
We're all weird here. You do like your creep.
Yes, I do like creepy things and creepy locales. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of my idea for like the plot, like the kind of the concept of the Backrooms. I really like the Backrooms concept, because. And like I even have even away from something like a convention center, my old work office definitely had that vibe when it was like just me working the night shift in this big old like we have like an open pen sort of like office space, but then there's like a bunch of like hallways that go out to our lounge, and it's like the way it's painted is like yellow beige, and it's got like sterile lighting on the top. It's got tiles, not like a carpeted floor. But there's definitely been times where I've like felt like I wanted to take a picture of the hallway that goes down to our lounge, because I just I like in my creepypasta addled mind, like working there, I would just envision some horrible thing or hear some horrible thing just around the corner from the hallway, and just expect like a hand to like pop up around the corner at any given moment.
Of course.
Like I don't think I've ever told this story, but one of the times when it was just me and another employee working at that office space, we heard girls screaming in the back rooms. Shit. The back rooms of the office space. The back rooms of the office space. Like we heard, like we were both working at separate computers, like within eyesight of each other, like across the bullpen, or the bull pit. I don't know, whatever they call those open concept sort of areas. Yeah. And we both heard like girls screaming over in the empty, vacant, like press room. Like the press room didn't exist anymore. Like they had removed all the equipment. It was just a giant, big old like space. And we both looked at each other when we heard it, and the other guy was like, "You heard that, right?" It's like, "Yeah." Do we have somebody breaking in? And he's like, "Hang on, I'm gonna go check." And so he went and
And
went
he
out
never returned.
Well, no, he came back, or he went out that way, and for like 5 minutes, and then as he came back, like as soon as he came through came out like the room, like out the out like a doorway, like goes out to the back area, and I saw him. The screaming happened again, and he's like, "There's nobody out there." And it was
Really?
just like, we never found anybody. There was just and like the secondary screaming was just like was a lot more quieter. So we kind of chalked it up. Strangely enough, me and this other guy chalked it up to maybe it was like a fluke in the air conditioning or something like that, like through the vents maybe. Because we never found anybody in the back area. So and this building does have a habit of like having doors kind of open and close on themselves. Like it'll open like a couple of inches and then shut, like because of like air pressure. And I mean, I think I've told stories where like I've been working alone in that building, and I was just finishing up and like getting some stuff done, and I stopped typing, and then I hear a couple of booths down somebody is typing, but there's nobody in that booth.
Stop scaring me.
That was like, and I'm done. Like I'm done for tonight. Goodbye. But yeah, like that office space, like again, office spaces like are kind of creepy, especially when you're like the only person in them.
Mm-hmm. You hear everything.
Yeah, exactly. You get all these weird sounds, like you hear like the creaking of and groaning of the vents from a shitty like decade old air conditioning or like a ventilation system, or like. I mean, the building was originally a Home Depot, so it was originally a giant open concept building that they added walls and stuff like in like kind of mismatch. So yeah, like basically what I'm trying to get at is we have haunted houses now. Like even today in our modern era, they're just office spaces now.
Yeah,
and that's what I think what the Backrooms kind of captures as a concept and idea with all these like photos that people post of these like liminal spaces that unnerve us on on like almost like maybe on like a subconscious cerebral level, and it's just like, yeah, that shit's creepy. And it's like no wonder people online kind of find these images of these places unnerving and want to write stories about them.
Yeah, for sure.
So
you said your place used to be a Home Depot? Well, that kind of explains it. That means there's a whole bunch of aliens living underneath where you were working.
Hey, you joke about that. One of our oldest employees would like he was kind of a conspiracy nut. He would constantly like joke around. At least I hope he was joking around of the reptoids that live under our building and the gas station next door.
I mean, that movie I saw recently might be right.
What
The
movie
Watch.
was this?
I'm referring to The Watch, where they.
Yeah.
It was a Home Depot, wasn't it?
No, it was Costco. It was
Costco.
Yeah.
Right.
But like a Costco is like, again, imagine being in a Costco at night, like a security guard at Costco. That would be kind of creepy.
Oh
like,
yeah, of course.
Like it's just like that kind of like labyrinthine, like it does a haunted house or like a labyrinth doesn't need to be like an ancient dungeon anymore. Because we find like nowadays we find our own like our own giant labyrinthine buildings creepy as fuck, especially when we're the only ones in it. Like it's a sense of isolation, and getting lost in those kind of buildings. So, anyways, that's my tirade or my thread on architectural horror in the modern day.
Nice.
Otherwise known as Review Cultist likes the Backrooms concept. Now, back to the story. So, like I said in the rundown, this story is a slight elaboration on the comment from the original post that just goes... And that's just going to be the topic of my notes from here on in. So, I'm going to start with this quote here. I passed the empty waiting area, a small area of the main room with magazines, children's playthings, and blue cushioned chairs, and approached the woman at the front desk. She was sitting in her bluish-gray office chair, looking at a spreadsheet on the same Windows XP desktop they've had since 2008. There was a sign-in sheet on the counter in front of me. Way to not describe the only character we do get to see in this story. Like,
Oh yeah.
I know we're here for the creepy backroom stuff, but maybe give a little bit more flourish of detail on characters that pop up in the story, since you're describing everything around them. Like, I
It's
know
like the character's just a black silhouette surrounded by extreme detail.
It's just like a basic, like, default, like, asset template of, or like
Yeah.
asset, like, model of generic woman receptionist in my brain. Like, she doesn't even have a face at this point.
Yeah.
Just a face, like, just a faceless expression and curly hair is what all I kind of got off of it. And like like, I guess it's supposed to, like, maybe you can insert your own, like, receptionist character, but it's like, no, dude, you got to add details.
Was there any description
No.
at all, or were you just putting all that description in?
I literally just gave you the only description we get of this woman, and it's the bluish gray office chair she's sitting in is the closest we get.
Right, the chairs explain better
Yeah.
than she is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she just doesn't exist to this guy, to Gary.
Yeah, he just walks up and is like, whoa, that chair is awesome. Yeah, my appointment's at 12:30. Wow, that chair. Just
That
staring
chair,
at
though.
it.
It's like, that chair, though. That chair. Love to sit on that chair.
Okay, sir,
also-
just take this and sit over there. You're creeping me out.
Yeah, for reals. Also, good thing that we actually get a character name, as we're about to find out with my next quote. So this is the part where I was talking about, so remember earlier I said, like, how, like, the dialogue's kind of clunky.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna start with this. I have an appointment with Dr. Pebbins, I asked. What time? 12:30, I replied. She began typing something in her keyboard. Ah, yes, she responded. Gary Johnson? Mm-hmm. That's me. How much is it? It'll be $18. Here you go. Keep the change. Hi, doggy. You're my favorite patient. Thanks a lot. Bye.
I was really hoping you were going to go there because it was sounding exactly like that.
Exactly. Like, for some reason, as I was reading this dialogue, it felt like the flower scene from The Room. Tommy Wiseau's The Room.
Well, now you have a clean visual of Gary and the receptionist.
Yeah, Gary is, in fact, Johnny. And the receptionist is the flower girl, is the flower salesman from the or flower saleswoman from that scene. Yeah, no, I think maybe it's just how I read it initially, but it really felt like the dialogue was kind of forced. Like, I don't know, like, I was just getting that impression. It just felt like really kind of like static.
I mean, that being said, in that situation, you would be she would be asking these questions, and you would be answering the same way.
I know, but I know. It's just like,
she's like, "What's your name?" And it's like, "Gamer Yellow." What's your middle name? Oh, In. Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, Gary Johnson. Mm-hmm. That's me. Oh, hi, doggy.
I think that was from her.
I think that's I think what did it for me. It was like, that's me.
Yeah.
How much is it? It'll be $18. Oh God. Yeah, no, I just had to insert that because it was like, oh God, why does this dialogue, like, ruin me so much?
Also, with the dialogue, it's kind of interesting if you think she doesn't exist. Just have his dialogue.
Oh God, it's Garfield comics without Garfield.
Wow.
It's that meme where, like, it's John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just John talking to Garfield, and Garfield's dialogue has all been removed from the comics, so it's just looks like he's just talking to his cat. It's just a one-sided conversation.
Which isn't that weird. Everybody does it.
Yeah. Man, the internet, like, has produced such, like, fun and creepy shit for all the other crap it does. For all the other crap it produces.
Yeah. Here's the dialogue with just him. I have an appointment with Dr. Pebbins. 12:30. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, no, yeah, basically, you can take it either as like Garfield without Garfield style or dialogue as written by Tom Wiseau. All right, moving on to my next one here. I was about halfway done with filling in my information when I slumped back in my chair. I hadn't gotten much sleep the night prior, and I was exhausted. As I slumped back, I noticed something very peculiar. My head never hit the wall. In fact, it felt like it went in. I got up, quite frightened, and looked at the wall. Hard stop. Do not make this about a dream. Please. Like, that was my knee-jerk reaction. Like, please don't make this all have been a dream, like all the weird shit that happens. Like, and as the story ended, I was still kind of left with, this could all be a dream. He either fell asleep doing paperwork in the waiting room and had this messed up dream that kind of like just built on like the banal environment he's kind of in, like kind of like a nightmarish sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or he whacked his head hard enough on the wall when he got drowsy that he knocked himself out into a coma, and now this is The Odyssey. You know, that weird 90s Canadian kid show about a boy in a coma who goes on weird dream adventures extrapolated from people from his everyday life, but in like a weird kooky way. And it sort of blends a sad drama of a kid in a coma and the parents and all family like dealing with that, a dream punk fantasy, and then season 2 gets really weird when he wakes up, but shit is still happening in the dream world. Anyway,
Okay.
I really don't want this to delve too far into he fell asleep in the waiting room and dreamed all this up. Because that's become a bit of a cop-out for stories. And I know I brought up earlier about like the Dreamlands of like the Cthulhu mythos and stuff like that. But the Dreamlands is supposed to be an actual like other reality that can affect our waking world. And I think that's the issue I always have with like it was all a dream sort of thing is like, and I think that's what Mikey has had a couple of times, is that when it ends with it was all a dream, it sort of takes away some of the danger level, because
Takes away all of it.
Yeah, it's all in your head. Like nothing actually happened to you. You were just, unless he like pulls out like something from that world into the real world. Like when it's done well, like I think in Dreams of the Witch House, the character would have dreams of like fantastical things going on and like witches and rat folk and dealing with a dark god and stuff like that, and finding an artifact and running away from the denizens of it. But when he wakes up in the morning, he has the trapezoidhedron in his hand. Like he has the weird stone relic that he pulled from the dream in reality. So, like again, like doing that way, that's fine. But like again, just having him like he just dozed off while doing paperwork in the waiting room and had a nightmare about being trapped in endless waiting rooms, like. And then he wakes up afterward, and like he's back in the waiting room. I don't know. I don't like those kind of plot lines in stories generally, because they've been done to death. Like it's not a new twist. It's a twist that gets done like to death.
Yeah.
So I was really hoping the story would not go that route. Fortunately, it does kind of leave it open-ended, so it may not be that case, but it did kind of feel like it at the beginning when he hints at he hadn't gotten much sleep and he was starting to doze off because he was doing paperwork.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and
I
then
took it at face value and didn't think of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I probably wouldn't have thought about it too much if I hadn't been like reading the story and like analyzing it for the show. Like I probably like on just like a quick glance of like if I just read the story just for shits and giggles, I probably would have just like ignored that. But as a result of us having to talk about the story, it came up. But moving right along, so I reached to touch the wall and my fingers went through it. I recoiled in shock. What the hell was that? I thought. As I reached to touch the wall again, only to find my fingers clipping through once more. Then, suddenly, I lost my balance, tripped, and fell directly through the wall. I fell face first onto some dirty, tanned carpeting. You tripped. Standing still? Like maybe shifting a little bit from side to side or like back and forth, maybe? Like,
Yeah.
yes, Mikey?
He tripped on the chair.
See, that needs to be added. That needs more of that. I need more. I must have more. I'm a Disney princess for the story.
It's the only way I can make it make sense because he's leaning back, his head goes through and goes, "What the heck?" So he stands up, puts his hand through the wall above the chair.
Yes.
And then the next time he leans forward a bit more and trips over the chair.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that, or my other take was like, because sometimes like in clinics and stuff like that, they have like a cat that just kind of like lounges and chills in the waiting area. So like, I was kind of I would be fine even if the story added a cat in the clinic that just like was that came over to get some attention and just he fumbled over the cat into the no clip wall.
Honestly, what I first thought of, because I also thought it was kind of ridiculous that he just fell ass over tea kettle for no reason, that the receptionist just came up, snuck up behind him, and shoved him in.
Oh, see, I was thinking you were gonna go like he's like, Mr. Johnson, just like jump scare the guy into it. But you're going more of like purpose was like, into the back rooms you go, motherfucker.
The doctor is waiting.
Oh, maybe the doctor is the inhuman thing inside the labyrinth. Yeah. Oh my god, yes! Yes! Gamer, you pulled a Mikey! You made the story so much better!
I did a thing for once!
Yeah!
That's my once a year.
It's not Christmas, but it's Christmas in July. It's a Christmas miracle in July. Spoilers. We're recording this episode in July because I think this episode's definitely getting posted in August.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wow. But yeah, no, I'm down. Like, and that's kind of been my thorough reason why I wanted to talk about this. Like, this has kind of been my story building sort of like gripe about this. Is this story is just surface level. As to the surface level, as to the like elaborating on the original post. Like, it is the original post with a few extra words to make to pull it to make it a page and a half. Like, it doesn't go stray too far from the initial plot, and I think that's a hindrance to it.
I think so.
I feel like it could be. Because I feel like it could be so much more. Like, we could have this could be fleshed out into a more of a story, like with this with the original idea and concept like at its center. But like, give us a reason to give a damn about this character. Like, give us more deets about this character and like and the world and the people around him. Like, yeah, make like, if you're gonna make the receptionist like a villainous kind of character, like servitor to like the doctor, who's inside the back rooms, like have her like kind of like he maybe explain like I couldn't really get a read on the receptionist at the desk, like she was giving off some kind of like a weird vibe to me, like and then like have her like suddenly I felt the hairs on the back of my neck prick up as I was staring at the no clip wall, and a voice whispered to me behind me, "Doctor will see you now," and then a push into the wall. Like, that would be so much cooler to add into this story, like to make it, and it would make it so much better. And that's really what I'm trying to get at. Is this, I feel like the story could be so much more than just a surface level elaboration on what is effectively like a paragraph of a quote.
Yeah,
or a paragraph of a comment. Yeah. And then I think this is my last one here. And this kind of like elaborates on, or this kind of goes a little bit further with like some more stuff from the end of the story. I'm still there. I haven't left. I've accepted my fate. In fact, I can actually hear footsteps. I wonder who that is. And then it's just like, Mr. Johnson, Dr. Plevens.
Yeah, just completely mundane at that point. Actually
and then
gives him a doctor's appointment and sends him away, and he leaves.
Yeah, sends them off into the back rooms like for all eternity.
No, it sends them home. Like,
Okay,
to
yeah.
make it entirely mundane and not like a problem. It's just weird. Actually, it's not mundane at that point, but it's harmless rather.
Yeah, it's subliminal weirdness. Like it's banal weirdness because like it kind of reminds me of like that what is that Dark Knight 6 from YTV's Halloween specials where where the skit was like this kid just going to school but his school's really weird on like the fringes and like everybody's acting kind of funny and like then like he has to go see the principal and the principal is dressed up fully as a clown and then he keeps seeing this like Satan figure in the hallways and he runs away from it and then bumps into like the janitor's room and they're playing like a gooey like creepy Trouble like board game. And then he leaves that, then suddenly bumps into his like best friend from his old school, and then the principal, not in clown outfit, just looks like a normal, regular, like straight edge like principal, like comes and is like, so I see you've met your old acquaintance. Well, Mister blah blah blah. Don't you have another class you have to get to? And it's like, what? Like, it's sort of that subliminal is like, is it real? Is it not? What the fuck's going on? Sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That could be really interesting. Like at the end, it's like, yeah, like have the doctor be the creature, like have all the weird sounds, like squelching or like maybe like hoof clopping, like in the back rooms, and as he's like trying to run away, and then he finally just gives up after like what it feels like weeks in the back rooms. And then as he's sitting there, maybe on the blue chair in one of the rooms, he hears the sound getting closer, and then he maybe even sees a shadow. Although generally you don't see, I guess, shadows from like a room that's fully lit by fluorescent lighting. But
maybe it's a magical back room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe the light goes out in one of the rooms, or like it kind of spurts out, so you see this horrible like shadow. And then just as like the shadow like is going to like reveal the actual creature, it's just the doctor pops in. It's like, Mr. Johnson, I'm Dr. Blevins. I believe we have an appointment here. And then like he suddenly just like kind of leads him to another room that's his office, does the checkup, and then just gives it like shows him the door like out of his office, and he opens up the office door and he's back into the waiting room to go like to leave, and everything's fine. But then have like maybe something, maybe have some hint as he's leaving that he's not left the back room, or maybe he has, like sort of like leave it a little bit open ended.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's actually not the original thing I was going to go with that quote. But damn it, that was good. Again, you're Mikey. You may be out of the job soon. I kid.
Obviously.
But yeah, the ending here kind of like left me wondering. It's like, how is the story being told to us? Like, I understand not all first-person narratives have to explain how we're reading a story, especially when it ends with like the character being trapped somewhere eternally, or being dead the whole time. But for a story like this specifically, I feel like there should be some explanation, and there's definitely some explanations you can have in this. Like, it's not hard to come up with. I came up with a couple within seconds of formulating this, like formulating my notes. Like maybe there's
sent the message out.
Exactly, yeah. Like maybe there's an old laptop, like an old like one from like the late 90s or like early aughts that he finds in the back rooms. Like he found an old blue like schoolyard or like school chair in there. So like maybe there's like a couple of like remnant anachronistic like items and artifacts in the back rooms.
Yeah, it's like a video game where like in one room there's a laptop, great, but there's no internet connection or nothing there. So you have to bring the laptop with you and find the room that has a modem sitting in it. But there's no like Ethernet plug in that room. So you have to bring that with you and find a room that has an Ethernet plug. Plug it all in.
Click adventure.
And then when you get all that hooked up, you don't know the password to like get into the computer. So you have to go find another room that has a random filing cabinet in it. It has a password for a safe in another room that gets you the password to get into the computer.
So you actually just touched on something that just like hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, ow.
Mm-hmm.
The Backrooms, like this story, like this little plot line, some of that, and what you just described would be perfect for a creepy point and click adventure game.
Yeah,
Like,
it really would.
like we're like, you know, like because you just scroll, like you can scroll around the rooms and then go forward into another room, and like it would be the level design is perfect for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And rooms have randomly like maybe it's like a roguelike where like certain items like are in different locations, so it's not static. So you're trying to find all the different items and stuff like that in order to what you think will like get you help. But then when you like get all the items together at the very end of the game, you got all the thing, you got the laptop loaded up and like hooked up to like what looks like an Ethernet cable and stuff like that. You plug in, you try and typing in, and then it just kind of kicks in. It's like you're unable to do anything other than post on a blog website. And so basically your character doesn't escape the back rooms. All they can do is post their journal, like a some kind of like a last will and testament as the creature is coming like for them. Like it's in the next room. You have moments to make some kind of plea. What do you say? And then it gives you like a couple of suggestions, or you can type something up, like in the game, and you have a certain amount of time to do so before the creature is going to get you. Like you have
going to get you regardless.
Yeah, but you have like a time limit, and then like. Were this an actual game like you get on itch.io or something like that, maybe your the whatever you write you can save it and add it to a page or something like that, or even like in the comments of the itch.io website and it's basically the comment section is like tales from the back rooms, and it's just like other people's like playthroughs of the game, like what they wrote as their last words. before the creature got their characters. How are you making like? I know I'm pulling for ideas from that one, like I'm drawing inspiration from what you said, but like how are you making it better? Like how are you straight up stolen? Like is Mikey just like skinned on you? Like are you wearing his skin now?
Well, I know what you're drawing now.
I guess now I know what I'm drawing.
But no, not that I'm aware of.
Oh God. But yeah, and even again, aside from like the laptop stuff or like finding anachronistic things, I assume this guy's in the modern day. Like this story came out in 2019, 2020 ish, like this creepypasta. So I assume this person has a cell phone. So maybe they found a few bars and did the same thing that they would have done with the laptop. Is like they tried calling for help. When that failed, like when they couldn't get anybody. All they could use with the data that they were able to get, or like the bars they were able to get, was just send out basically their last message, like their last words before the creature got them. Yeah, that's really what it. And again, it just kind of hunkers down to my real issue with the story is that it felt like there could be so much more to it. Like it could have been built up much more outside of the slightly bigger word count of the initial comment / idea plot. So.
They did do it in a safe manner, though.
Yeah.
Because they didn't stray too far from the source material, there's no real way to fuck it up.
Well, yeah. And actually, to take something from your corner, gamer, because sometimes when a story plays it safe, it doesn't make it memorable. Yeah. Like, I feel like the original post is more memorable than this page and a half. Like, that paragraph I read earlier. That is the original post that accompanied the image of the back room. I feel is more memorable than the story, personally. But I will save the rest of my condemnations for final thoughts, because that is the end of my actual thoughts. Mikey, D stands for evil.
My first actual thought here. Is that I want to know more about the creature.
Yeah.
The only quote
about it?
The only quote we get is, "Then in the distance I heard footsteps, but not those of a human, at least not a normal human. Alongside the footsteps was a gurgling snarl, like that of an angry animal."
Yeah, like I get you. What does that even mean? Like, not that of a human. but or at least not like of a normal human. And then it talks about like an animalistic snarl. It's like, so that's a bit of a vague statement. Like,
Yeah.
like, because the way I kind of interpret it is like, so is it some kind of weird squelching sound? Is it hoof clops? Like, but it's like only coming from like one set of hooves. So like it's like a bipedal creature that's on hooves, like a beast man from like 40K or something like that, or like the Minotaur. Not from 40K, from Warhammer Fantasy, or like the Labyrinth, like the Minotaur. Or yeah, like how? What is this inhuman or more than human footsteps? Like how you need to describe those footsteps a little bit more, buddy.
Yeah. And then, unfortunately, this lends to the idea that it's all a dream
I know.
because the footsteps are heard at a distance, and the gurgling snarl could just be his stomach rumbling.
Or the water cooler in the corner,
Yeah.
or the ventilation shaft. It could, again, like how we like how the girl screams from my own experience with like a creepy office building. It could be the ventilation. The footsteps could be the receptionist coming over to check on him.
Yeah. Which is super mundane.
Yeah. At the same time, though, like, and this may not entirely be connected to what you're talking about, but like, just the idea, like when it's describing the clinic, and like the waiting room in such amazing detail compared to describing the receptionist herself. Everybody else has gotten that experience of like kind of like banally creepy waiting rooms at like dentists and doctors' places, right? Like I remember growing up at with a dentist who had like it was probably a converted closet in the waiting room that they like used all like old wood like paneling and stuff like that, and it was basically like a little like kid cubby, like a little kid cave with like a desk with all these like drawing like a drawing desk and like some like little like coloring books, and but it felt like a little like hovel, like it was actually like done up to look like a little woodland cave. um or like going to my current dentist, and like their waiting room has like an adult section, and then there's like a little like again a little alcove off to the side where like all the little kids like can play in, like a little play area. And for some reason I even like just sitting there in that waiting room, I just think of it's like, man, this would be really creepy at night, like walking in here, like. And maybe it's just because like how I see the world as like there's just like this weird banal creepiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I just can't help but like things like, man, that would be really creepy in certain circumstances. Just like how plain it is, and how like how innocent it's trying to be for like the innocence of children. It just comes off as creepy to me.
It's like a clown situation. It's the reason clowns are creepy.
Well, kind of, because clowns are creepy psychologically because they are wearing a mask essentially. But they're not wearing a mask. Like they're wearing makeup to make themselves look like they're smiling constantly, and that unnerves people because it gives you the uncanny. Yeah, maybe it is the uncanny valley sort of situation. Like our either our reptile brain or the reptile part of our brain, or like our primitive human like parts just don't like not seeing something that doesn't seem natural or something that's being forced. But yeah, sorry, not to. Man, those tangent police are going to be. I digress. There, I worded them off.
Yeah, thankfully, this is the main reason we're recording from home now. It's so the tangent police won't attack all of us. It'll just attack you.
Thanks, guys.
I'm safe.
Yeah, but yeah, sorry. Mikey, continuing on. Continue on.
All right. So my next actual thought is running into gamers territory with some good old video game logic of clipping through walls.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That, like, is this a speed run? Is this just the same building, but the people and furniture haven't spawned because he skipped the checkpoint?
He's speed running to get to his like, man, this would be so much quicker. Like, I'd be able to get my appointment done so much quicker if I just could clip through the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he realized he was in a video game the whole time.
He just has a slow PC, so it's taking a long time to load up all the geometry that he's in, so he falls through the level. And then the level spawns behind him, that's why he couldn't get back through.
Mm-hmm. The doctor is actually like so the doctor is the thing that's been like footsteps and stuff like that and gurgling. It's just like basically assets being assembled. Like if you were to ever see like where the doctor is, he's just like a T-posing like the princess.
Yeah.
Like as he's like kind of being reasserted into reality. I've actually so when you summon in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, when you summon your horse, I have the lynx set up as my mount in the game. But there's been and usually when you summon the horse, like it just you hit the button, it's you whistle out the horse call, and then your horse or your lynx or whatever mount you have set runs up from behind you, so like off camera. But there's been a few times where I've seen it spawn, like I've just happened to like be in the right camera angle when it spawns, and it spawns a few like 5 feet in the air as a horse first, and then morphs into a lynx, and then drops to the ground and runs over to me.
Whoa. Morphs or instantly changes? Is it like? Is it like?
It's actually it's not quite a morph, but it's not quite like it doesn't instantly change. There's like definitely some model fuckery happening as the lynx has to like it like so like the horse appears first for a split second, then the next second it's the lynx trying to like with its limbs trying to accommodate a horse's like skeleton. And then it asserts its normal skeleton in it.
Wow.
It was horrifying. I've had like 3 or 4 really fucked up glitches pop up in Assassin's Creed Valhalla that are and I've saved them. Fortunately,
Good.
like I have them like screenshotted. That like the one when you're in Valhalla itself, like the actual like Norse haven, or like sorry, when you're in Asgard as Odin, you summon an elk. I summoned an elk, and it came out wrong. Like it came over to me like its head was completely sheared off and like warped back beyond the antlers, and its legs were both its front and rear legs were connected to each other, and the way it would and I got on it and I was able to ride it, but the way I was riding it was just like this weird janky like waddle animation. And that was for like basically the entire ride to a location.
It never fixed.
Yeah, it didn't even fix it. It only fixed it when I resummoned the elk.
Wow.
And I took a picture of that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the kind of thing. It's like like if the guy ever was able to like sneak up around the corner of like the room where the sound's coming from, he just sees this horrible like human that's like not in the right skeleton structure as it like reasserts it, as it's being reasserted into reality. I'm actually surprised that it took us this long in this session to not talk about how the back room is basically more of a video game in reality. So thank you, Mikey.
And then the other question I have is this all just the same room? So it's like the Lost Woods in Legend of Zelda for NES.
Yeah.
Where you can only exit, I think it was like to the left.
It's like a portal room sort of thing where like you walk out one side and then suddenly you're just running in through the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he just has to find the right combination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that he just has to go to the left because, to quote the story, I haven't left.
Son of a fucking bitch. God damn it.
Oh, that is so stupid.
It's so stupid it might
so I
just
have to like
work.
it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Wait, so does that mean that the Backrooms like exits out into left fields? The town of Left Fields?
Oh, Left Town.
Oh yeah, Left Town. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I'm sure there's fields in Left Town.
Mm-hmm. Or yeah, is Left Town actually just called Left Field? Because I mean that could be a town's name. Is Left Field?
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, there are two towns. There's Left Town and Left Field, but they're both in Leftland.
Yeah, no. I thought they're both in Derpland.
No, hell no! Don't you dare call Left Town Derpland.
Left Field and Left Town are in Leftland, which is to the right of Derpland.
Of course, because that makes sense.
ADR. Yeah. Wow. God damn it.
I really love this weird, like canon we have with all of our stupid shit we come up with.
Like I'm saying, we have to like do a Plot Growers episode sometime and like just brainstorm a game like where we just make a setting of Derpland and Left Field and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Totally do it someday. But I digress.
As you do.
That is literally the banishing word of the Tangent Police now. It works so well; it's effective 100% of the time.
Yeah, and that's the end of my actual thoughts.
Well, way to go out with a bang! All right, gamer, you're up.
My turn. Okay. So, as suggested, I checked the Know Your Meme page first.
Yes.
And honestly, in a way, I kind of wish I didn't. I kind of wish I looked that up after. It doesn't really matter either way, but just because I knew exactly what was going to happen reading the story,
Yeah, when I sent you the message, I was like, should I tell him? Like, because I'd read it before. Because it's right there on like at the top of the page. Like,
yes,
like there's a link to go to the information for like basically to get context. But as I was like sending that message, like maybe I should have told him to like read it after, so we have that perspective of somebody who read it after they read the story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want to do that for the future, like tell one of us make sure to read this first, and tell one of us to make sure to read this.
And then, Mikey, did you read the Know Your Meme at all?
I read it second.
Okay, so we do have that perspective.
Okay.
I for some reason was expecting Mikey I read it beforehand, and if I hadn't been stupid and not told you to do it, you would have read it, gamer, afterward. And then for some reason I was just expecting Mikey to come in here. Hey, I just read the story.
Oh, you didn't read it at all.
So that was like more or less a worry. Is like, should I have reminded Mikey to check the links?
He's fine.
Well, I read them in order of the links that are in the email you sent, so
yeah,
I read the story first.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gamer just doesn't check his emails. I had to remind him.
I got the message. How else would I?
That's true. Yeah.
But either way, I was checking the Know Your Meme page first, and it has pictures and everything and describes everything. And so it's basically a story about an infinite space of yellow everywhere. Oh, Can I bring my Xbox and PC? I'd live there. That's fine.
Yeah, and you even have like a cool you even have like a cool roommate that like you never get to see, but you always hear you always see him lumbering around.
Yeah, I always feel safe. I'm never lonely. He's always there, but he's also never there. But he's there,
so he's not
so I never have to deal with him.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't have
to bug him. He doesn't have to bug me.
Like, there's nice carpet.
Yeah, carpet everywhere. It's nice on my tootsies. It's awesome.
To be fair, from what I read on a few comments of this story and like even of like the images of, people actually comment like, I would love this. Like, can I stay here?
The downside being you'll starve to death.
I mean,
which I guess is a problem.
I guess that's a problem for some. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's assuming you do starve in that liminal space, because it is a space out of time and space. So, do you in fact get hungry? Do you in fact even need to sleep, or are you just in this like stasis?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you anchored in? Are you quantumly anchored to a state of being while you're there?
If I am actually locked in time and I start playing Warframe, am I actually getting progress in Warframe, or is it like I turn it off, turn it back on, and it's like I never did anything? Because that would be hell
for me. That would be hell.
absolute
God,
horror.
I hate. Don't you just hate it in video games when you like think that you saved and then you quit the game and then you log back in and none of the progress that you spent hours doing was properly saved.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's the
soul
ultimate
crushing.
horror for me.
Yeah. Oh god. So that's the next creepypasta we need to write. Is a gamer getting stuck in the back room thinking it's awesome because he never has to eat, never has to sleep, he can just play his games the whole time. The one time though he takes a break, the days he spent playing that game without rest, it doesn't get saved and he completely loses all his progress.
Yeah.
That would be the that's where the story ends. It's just like, and he realized he didn't have any save files from the last 300 days.
Or all the save files he made didn't actually work.
Yeah,
So
they
you
all
have to
they all
load up the
corrupt
first one
instantly.
again. Yeah.
God, that would be so bad. Like,
Mhm.
I had that happen, like, again, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I had that happen where, like, I was, like, going through, like, I was basically clearing the map of, like, items or artifacts, mysteries, and treasures. And I got, like, through a whole section of it. And then I thought I had saved, so I turned it off. And then when I loaded up the next day, I lost, like, not even, like, a whole lot. I lost, like, basically 3 or 4 mysteries and artifacts that I had already done, like basically about an hour or two worth of work. And I felt so defeated I didn't play the game for like half a week.
Oh.
Like I was like, fuck this game, I'm done. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm done. I just gotten that Thor's armor. Like I did the whole quest with the witches of East Anglia. Fuck you, game. Fuck you and your stupid non-save file.
Yeah. It can be really demoralizing.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's basically you get you get demoralized from it.
Hmm.
It also kind of sounds like that honestly sound like a gamer trapped in the back rooms like thinks it's great until that revelation. That honestly feels like a Twilight Zone plot. It's like all the time in the world, and this gamer couldn't find a save file. What do you expect in the Twilight Zone? Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's about it for that note. Then the next one, the quote is, "In fact, I can actually hear footsteps. I wonder who that is." So, just going off of that, I didn't really know where that's going, like whether or not it was going to show who it was or whatever, and obviously it doesn't. But
Yeah,
I kind of wish
that.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, yeah, no, it's that horror story trope of like ending right before the monster is about to grab the character, so it like leaves you in a bit of suspense. Like Lovecraft's Dagon does that. Like it ends with the character writing the account that he had as Dagon's scaly behemoth-like hand comes bursting through his room's door, and he just like, I'm typing this up, and now I'm going to run out my window, and bye. He just like leaps. Like it's left to assume that he leaps out of his window as he finishes typing to a fate unknown. Like, does he get caught by Dagon, or does he just defenestrate himself to death or to salvation? You don't know. But yeah, the way it reads is like, I can hear it coming. It's about to break through the door right now. So I typed this up, and I'm planning to leap out my window now.
Perfect. You said that. Just was able to get that out in time.
Yeah, exactly. Hope I have a save file.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Either way,
Yeah.
I kind of wish, in regards to the footsteps and the sound, I kind of wish it was footsteps accompanied by some crying, and like at the end of the story, he says like, "I'm gonna go try the next room," even though, and like he himself is crying at that point, saying that I'm gonna go walk to the next room as he's crying. So it kind of wraps it around like there's a time dilation going on, and that thing that he's hearing crying is himself going to the next room.
Fuck! God damn it, gamer!
Did I do it again?
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Like, and it would make so much. That's definitely a good use of the backroom idea. Like, it's a liminal space. It's out of space. It is out of space and time. So yeah, the people think that there's a horrible creature in there with them. It's just them, just slightly dilated between rooms.
Mm-hmm. I mean, technically, that could be what's there, even with what we have. It's just with the time dilation, it's making the cry sound like a weird squeal or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, like a weird inhuman scream. Yeah, like a
that's why the
gurgling sound.
footsteps sound weird too. Like it's just messing with it.
Yeah, like it's that's so good.
I like it.
Fuck. God damn it. Yeah.
I'm earning my pay today.
Yeah, damn.
You get paid?
No.
I mean, let's switch to the topic here.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, my next one is basically just asking how he got the message out, but we kind of talked about that anyways.
Yeah. Do you have anything like to add on to that, or?
Not really.
Like
Although,
the only
like,
other...
I don't know how important it is to have that fleshed out, because like the way that this is portrayed, it kind of seems like you're in the character's head. It's not a narrator talking about the character.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you could take it that way, but yeah.
Yeah, but if the subject or whatever, the wording of the story is shifted slightly to make it seem more like a narrator talking about this dude and his shitty day, then it doesn't matter how the message got there, because the narrator told us, not the guy.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's more like it's just a campfire story kind of thing. Like it doesn't have to make sense how this got out. We're just being told a story. It's fiction. Yeah. I like how because usually I'm on the other side of that, where it's like, oh no, it doesn't have to make sense where we found that. Like usually, like we've switched perspectives in this one case.
Nah, never again.
Gamers just like, oh god, I got to. All right, rebooting. We're starting from a new save file.
Yeah, that's all I got for notes.
Okay. Well, I think actually we got a lot. We plumbed a lot of stuff from this story, and again, the paragraph comment of the Backrooms. Like, I was surprised how little there was in the Know Your Meme about it. Like, it was just kind of straightforward. Like, yeah, this thing happened in 2019. Like, this image sparked a bunch of stuff. There's a wiki. There's TikTok videos of people just like showing like other similar like locations and stuff like that. Again, I have like 2 or 3 Twitter accounts that I follow that just post video like images that are similar to the original post, because people find that stuff creepy, and I love that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, so I suppose we can move on to final thoughts. The Backrooms idea, weird, guys. I think it's cool, and I love it.
It's almost like you said that right out the gate.
Yeah. And there are definitely, and there, from what I've gathered, there are more stories out there about it, and certainly we've come up with a couple really cool ideas for some stories, and even some game scenario ideas. So it's really good fodder, the actual Backrooms concept. And yeah, you can check out the Backrooms wiki. In fact, I might check it out to see if there's any stories that are worth looking into for future episodes. This story in particular falls flat for me, as it kind of goes the lazy route, like the safe route, and just half expands the original comment that sparked this internet phenomenon. Like we've said before, if you kind of go halfway and just make a story that's kind of middling, like kind of average, it's not very noteworthy and like interesting. And so it kind of gets left by the wayside because it's almost worse than being really bad, because it's not memorable.
Like we all remember Spyro.exe.
Yeah, but who remembers?
Not for good reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can't even remember a middling one, like a title of a middling one. So that's how bad it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't recommend this story. Weird. It's weird for me to say that, like, because I generally do like to try and find the good in a story, but this one was just like, yeah, the Backrooms I recommend, like as an idea and as a concept, and like see if there's other stories out there that are a little bit more, that explore the concept a little bit more. No pun intended. because exploring back rooms is sort of the.
I get it.
All right. Anyway, yeah, I don't recommend the story. I'm sorry, guys. Mikey, these stands for evil.
I'm going to give this a low-end partial recommendation.
Ooh.
Reasoning is that it's sort of fun to think about the concept, but the story itself falls flat.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at. All right, and Gamer.
For me, I'm partially going to parrot what you guys are saying because I get what you're saying, but the story itself was a quick read. It puts you in the head of a guy experiencing the back rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So having a first viewing of that sort of thing happening is cool. And even though there's a lot of stuff that isn't explained and described, there is enough described that it's not completely blank. Like, I've read stories where I've had to think up visuals for literally everything. This one, there's no visual for the creature. There's no visual for the receptionist, though the receptionist questionably doesn't matter unless she does and she's actually in on it, like I say she is.
But
But
it's an inside job the whole time.
Yeah, but like the feeling of being lost in there and not getting anywhere, like, that's all cool. However, there needs to be some sort of mention of the time that he's in there. Having a shift over to it being a narrator talking about this dude's terrible time here would be better. So there are ways to make it better, but I didn't hate reading it. And me reading it, I came up with all these weird ideas trying to explain what's going on, which I guess is possibly a fault of the story because it doesn't explain a lot of what's going on.
Yeah.
But the most I can give it is a partial, like straight even partial recommendation, because it was fun to read. And I thought up some interesting stuff about how to make it work, but there's a lot that can be done to it. And like what you said from the get-go, Cultist, they don't explore the options of what they can do with the backrooms. It's a very safe, here's a dude going through the backroom situation, but they don't take any risks to see what can be of the backrooms. Like, the only thing that they described is the creature. Or is the creature described in the KnowYourMeme as well?
No, in the KnowYourMeme it's not described. It's just there's something in there, but no one's ever seen it. They've just heard it getting closer. And the dread is sort of like, if you can hear it, it sure as hell can hear you, so you're fucked.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's slightly elaborated on, but not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long story short, partial.
Okay. So yeah, to sum it all up, I almost think, I guess it's like, is it like a half point of recommendation? Because like you guys both like went like sort of like low end of half or like partial. So like, is that like 25% each?
I went pure like middle of the road partial.
Okay, so
standard partial.
So about 75%, 0.75%, or sorry, 75% out of 3.
Sure.
Or sorry, 0.75 out of 3. That's there we go. 3/4. Yeah, 3/4 out of 3. Damn it.
But you love decimals, just like the creepypasta.
Oh god, don't get me started. All right. Well, I'm going to talk about that in another episode. No, not in our show. I think I'm going to have like Adam from RPX and Chris from RPX jump on like a show, or I'll ask them if they want to do that because it's an RPG based thing. Man, that fuck that creepypasta RPG. Like that's the cultist stance on that. Like I will not be running that game anytime soon at all. Anyway, thanks Gamer for bringing that up.
No problem. Sorry, I didn't know you'd get so freaking heated about it.
I'm surprised myself, but it kind of infuriated me. Anyway,
yeah.
Tune in to a future episode where we discuss that monster on possibly our show or the Roleplay Exchange. Anyway, yeah, so like I think we all agree that the concept of the backrooms and the phenomena that popped up as a result of the image and the original quote, full recommendations. What I got from everybody? Like, we all like that.
I like the concept, just the execution of this one wasn't ideal for my taste.
Yeah, and I think that's basically the takeaway is like the concept's really good, solid. This story in particular kind of falls flat. Like there's some potential, but it doesn't do enough. So, but that is this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, or if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below. Whether it be on Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, or Tumblr. You can also leave us messages on Twitter. Mikey is at the E stands for evil. The Gamer in Yellow is at the Gamer in Yellow, but without that W at the end because his name is very goddamn long.
It has to be, though.
Of course. And I'm at Review Cultist. If you'd like to send us emails, you can go to aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's ALDENTERIGAMORTIS@gmail.com. Where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas, spooky internet things, mysteries, cryptids, SCPs. Send us your content, and we will discuss it and post it on the show. And if you'd like to help support the show financially, you can go to Patreon and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We have $2 and $5 tier with special episodes, early access, extra content. To our patrons that are helping support the show, thank you guys so much. You're helping keep those hosting bills at bay, and we very much appreciate it. Like, sincerely, we very much appreciate it. And to our listeners and the creators of these stories and wonderful, creepy internet things, thank you guys immensely, because if you weren't listening, it would just be like us wandering through the back rooms, just shouting in infinitum. And then getting creeped out by strange noises as the time dilation happens.
Yeah.
It'd just be a friggin' an echo chamber. And if you weren't creating these stories and these weird, spooky internet phenomenons, we really wouldn't have much of a show because we literally have nothing to talk about. So thank you all the same. Until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey. The E stands for evil.
And I'm the Gamer in Yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. See you in the back rooms. Sleep well.